My wife cheated after 33 years of marriage with a planned threesome. Her confession was too late, and now I'm choosing freedom over forgiving her betrayal. 3 days ago, on D-Day, my world turned upside down. My wife and I have been married for 33 years. I'm a 55-year-old man, and my wife is also 55. We have 2 children and 2 grandchildren, whom we love dearly. Here's some background. We met at a nightclub back in the 1980s, where I was working as a bouncer. We went out on a date, and 2 months later, we moved in together. 2 years after that, we got married. We built a good life together, balancing work, play, and raising our children. I transitioned from a very active job in the military to a sedentary desk job after an injury, which led to significant weight gain. It got to the point where I couldn't even finish sex because I would have an asthma attack. We tried different things to spice up our sex life and remained monogamous. Having been cheated on in the past, infidelity was a firm red line for both my wife and me. We loved each other deeply, and I thought we would grow old and die together. 33 years of marriage is a long time, but I loved her more with every passing year. After 20 years of a nearly dead bedroom, I decided to lose the weight. Over 2 years, I lost 80 kilograms, about 176 pounds, and had a tummy tuck. I know it sounds vain, but I had 3 main reasons. First, to be around to see my grandchildren grow up. Second, to improve my health. And third, to rekindle our sex life. And it worked. For the last 2 years, we had sex about 3 or 4 times a week. And my wife enjoyed every second of it. I knew this because her body doesn't lie. We were in a place where we could truly enjoy our lives together. She still says she's in love with me, and I with her. I have never cheated on her, and I believe she had never cheated on me. It was just one of those certainties. That was until 3 days ago. She went on a holiday with her 2 sisters, heading interstate. I had no problem with this, as I trusted her completely. She knew that cheating was a deal breaker for us, even after 33 years. In our relationship, nothing was hidden. We had apps on our phones to see each other's whereabouts, not out of distrust, but for simple safety. No phones were locked, and we both had access to each other's messages and emails. Trust was never an issue. When I lost weight and started looking better, I did attract more attention from women, but I always brushed it off because I was happily married. My wife commented that she felt a little insecure now that others found me attractive, especially since she had gained some weight. This never worried me. I love her no matter what she looks like. I tell her daily that I love her and how beautiful she is. Our sex life is amazing now, and I regret that we didn't try harder earlier on. Anyway, I just finished work and was heading home when I got a phone call from my wife. She was very upset and asked if my sister-in-law had spoken to me. I said no and asked what was wrong, never imagining what she was about to say. She confessed that she cheated and had sex with another man. She was sobbing, saying she was so sorry and didn't know what came over her. I was shocked, and my heart just broke. I sat in my car numb as she continued. She explained that she and her sisters were having drinks, and a married couple joined them. They drank until 2 in the morning, and her sisters had already left for their room. The bar closed, and she, very drunk, went with the couple to their room to keep drinking and talking. The couple was very complimentary, telling her how sexy she was and that her husband was a lucky man. The man started touching her, and his wife encouraged them. They assured her no one would know and to just enjoy it. She said it didn't even feel like her, but she had sex with the husband while his wife watched. In the morning, she woke up in bed with both of them, panicked, and ran back to her room. Her sister caught her, and she confessed everything. Her sister insisted she tell me, or she would. She told me all this over the phone, sobbing and begging for forgiveness. I was numb. How could she throw away our lives? She kept crying, saying she was sorry, that she hated herself, and that she loved me, but it was a terrible mistake. I told her it wasn't a mistake. She made a decision. I hung up and turned off my phone. I went home and sat in a chair trying to process what would happen next. I cried over the loss of my wife, the years we shared, and the future we had planned. My life as I knew it was over. I shut myself off for 2 days, then turned my phone back on. There were hundreds of messages from her and her sisters. The last one said she was on her way home. My kids had also tried to contact me, as their mother was calling them to check if I was all right. I called my kids, told them what happened, and said I was as okay as could be expected. I told them I'd be leaving home to sort myself out before she returned, and asked them not to tell her where I was going. I needed time to come to grips with the end of my marriage. I sent a text to my soon-to-be ex-wife, telling her we were getting a divorce, that I didn't want to hear from her, and that I didn't care about the details or about her anymore. The pain is incredible. I never thought our love could be destroyed so quickly. One reaction came from Pat J. Cobb. I sincerely doubt this was the first time she stepped out. You don't go from 33 years of faithfulness to a threesome after one night of too many shots in a bar. He only got the tearful confession because she thought the sister-in-law had ratted her out already. Don't listen to other posters shilling for reconciliation. I guarantee you those 20 years of a dead bedroom were one-sided. Update. I may ramble a bit as I have a lot going through my mind, and my thoughts keep jumping from one thing to another. A couple of clarifications. Our dead bedroom wasn't completely dead, but compared to the last 2 years, it felt that way. My active job was in the military, but I got injured during a training exercise, which led to a desk job, then a medical discharge. After that, my wife and I bought a small business together. Before speaking to my wife, I talked at length with my sister-in-law and her husband. The story my wife initially told me was very different from what she confessed to her sister. My kids were horrified by what happened and just want to support me. I explained that, though they may be angry with their mother, she is still their mother and their children's grandmother. She loves them, and what she did to our marriage doesn't change that. My wife and her sisters cut their holiday short and came home. I left a note for my wife, telling her to pack and stay at her mother's, which she did. The details of what happened are much worse than what she first told me. Though she confessed under the threat of being exposed, she didn't tell the full truth. No surprise there. She broke down to her sister and apparently told her everything. I won't know what to believe until I sit down with her. According to her sister, the story goes like this. She loves me and our marriage and never expected to do this. She blames our active sex life over the last 2 years, which made her curious about what else she might have been missing. She felt this way because she was always the attractive one in our relationship, but now she believes the roles have reversed. She was insecure and needed to feel wanted by someone else. She swears it was the first time, but she planned it. It was a fantasy she acted on, an itch she wanted to scratch, and she was never going to tell me. Unbeknownst to her sisters, the couple she met were interstate customers of our business. I haven't met them, but my wife spoke with them often over the phone. She went for drinks to meet them, but her sisters tagged along, so they pretended to be strangers until her sisters left. She drank but wasn't falling down drunk. All three had planned this before the trip. My wife is coming over this afternoon to talk. She's apparently beside herself about what will happen. I already know what I'll do. She chose to cheat, and everyone will feel the repercussions. The truth about her cheating makes it more devastating, but it strengthens my resolve. I didn't cheat, and I didn't force her to lie. Her feelings of losing me in our marriage are spot on, and I don't care how miserable she is. She did this, no one else. We will all have to deal with it now. We are over, and we'll have to navigate our changed lives. Last update. Firstly, thank you to the 99% who showed support. It's really helping. For those who blamed me, I have no doubt you have your own issues to deal with, and good luck with that. This is a long post because once I started typing, I couldn't stop. It felt good to get it down in writing, so to speak, and was a little cathartic. This will be my last update for a while. For those interested in what happens, I'll post in a few months to let you know how things are going. I talked with my wife yesterday. After so many years together, we both find it hard to sleep without the other beside us. It's been like that for decades. But last night was the first night I had a very good night's sleep without her. She came home and walked through the door, looking terrible, sleepless, guilty, scared, red-eyed. Normally my heart would break, and I'd comfort her, but not this time. I was sitting at the table when she started crying and rushed in for a hug, blubbering that she messed up and was so sorry. I put my hand up, told her not to touch me, and asked her to sit down. She sat. I asked if she wanted coffee, as I was making one, and she accepted. I made the coffee and returned to the table. Her eyes never left me. She started to speak, but I told her to be quiet, answer my questions, and listen. This wasn't about her but about me and our marriage. I told her we were done. She had made her choice, and this was about making mine. I had already decided, but I wanted some semblance of truth from her, thinking she might be at least a little honest if given the chance. I told her I had spoken with her sister, which was true, and with the couple, which wasn't, but she didn't know that. I had the strangest mix of feelings, happy that she was so upset but sad for us, along with disappointment, anger, and all the normal emotions. Yet I was calm, and that freaked her out the most. Honestly, it felt like I was conducting a job interview. I asked how many times. She said physically once and twice on video chat. I asked her to explain how it happened. She said that when they were talking business, it turned into flirting. When the wife said it was okay and got involved, over a couple of months, it moved to watching them have sex. She told them it had always been her fantasy to have sex while the wife watched, and they were all for it. She was crying as she said this went too far. She knew it was dangerous, which made it more exciting. She started to say she felt insecure, but I cut her off, saying I didn't want to hear her excuses or justifications. I waited about 5 minutes until she could pull herself together, even getting her tissues. She said they met as arranged, and after her sisters left the bar, they went straight to the couple's room. I asked if she ever intended to tell me, and she said no. It was just a fantasy she thought she could fulfill and never think about cheating again. I called that nonsense and asked if she had cheated over the last 33 years. She said never. I told her it didn't matter now. Once or 1,000 times, the result was the same. The only ones it would hurt if she was lying were our kids and her relationship with them and our grandchildren. I said I didn't believe her, but it was irrelevant. She started to realize I had no intention of working through her infidelity. She begged me to work on our marriage, saying she'd do anything, even letting me have affairs if I stayed, and promised never to cheat again. I told her to listen to herself. She had degraded herself enough. I would never cheat in a marriage. If I slept with another woman, it would mean we were separated with no chance of reconciliation. That's the last thing on my mind. She reached to grab my hand, but I told her I would never touch her again. It's not that I judge anyone's lifestyle. People have affairs or open marriages, and that's their business. But we didn't. The trust and respect were destroyed when she planned to have another man inside her. I've always been pragmatic, and I felt relief. I told her we'd make this as easy as possible. She took this as hope for a relationship, but I clarified that we were done. I would never touch her again, and I meant it. I could never forget that she screwed another man. The woman I loved and married is now dead to me. She died when she not only slept with another man but planned it. All the good memories, the holidays, building our first home, raising our children, the laughs and life we faced together, are just memories. We're now going to have separate lives, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens without her. When I meet another woman, I hope to start new memories and find love again. She was shaking and crying, but it didn't faze me. I just wanted her out of my house. She couldn't continue the talk, so I went to the shed and called my kids while she composed herself. I told them what was happening, and they were supportive, urging me to finish it quickly. I went back, and as soon as I walked in, she started again with apologies and pleas to make it work. I sat down and said we'd sell the house and business and split everything 50-50. She could have the car, I'd take the truck and my motorcycle. She could take the cats. I told her not to call, text, or contact me unless it was about the kids or grandkids. I'd contact lawyers to start the divorce, and she was free to sleep with anyone she wanted as a free woman. She said she didn't want to sleep with anyone else and accused me of being deliberately mean. Unemotionally, I told her I was being honest, and her actions had left me in an emotional void. She was the only one to blame for destroying our marriage. I loved her unconditionally, and she screwed it up. I left the house so she could take a few more things and went to my daughter's. I stayed there for a few hours talking with her and playing with my granddaughter. When I got home, she had left, and as I said, I had the best night's sleep without her I've ever had. The morning after Anna left, I woke to sunlight streaming through the kitchen window, the house eerily quiet without her presence. For 33 years, her sounds, her humming, her footsteps, the clink of her coffee mug, had been the soundtrack of my life. Now, at 55, I'm alone in the home we built. A 3-bedroom ranch filled with memories I can't escape. Our kids' first steps in the living room, holiday dinners at the oak table, late-night talks on the porch. But those memories are tainted now, overshadowed by her betrayal. A planned affair with a married couple during her sister's holiday, confessed only because her sister threatened to expose her. The pain is raw, a physical ache in my chest, but that night's sleep, deep and untroubled, was a sign I'm ready to let go, to rebuild a life without her, one step at a time. I make coffee, the ritual grounding me, and sit at the table where I ended our marriage yesterday. Anna's sobbing face flashes in my mind, red-eyed, desperate, begging for forgiveness. But I feel no urge to comfort her, a stark contrast to decades of instinct. Her words, "I'm so sorry, I love you," ring hollow against the recordings I imagine, though I never heard them. Her planning sex with another man, fulfilling a fantasy she hid from me. The trust we built over 33 years, through military injuries, a dead bedroom, and raising our kids, is gone. I sip my coffee, resolute. Divorce is the only path, and I'm determined to navigate it with dignity, for our kids, our grandkids, and myself. I call my daughter Sarah, who's 30 and lives nearby with her husband and 2-year-old daughter Lily. She's been my rock, offering her guest room when I needed space after Anna's confession. "You okay, Dad?" she asks, her voice soft but steady. I tell her about the talk, my decision, the sleep that followed. "You're strong," she says. "We're here for you." I ask about Lily, and Sarah laughs, describing her latest obsession with stacking blocks. The sound lifts me, a reminder of why I'm fighting, to be a grandfather who's present, not a husband trapped in betrayal. Sarah invites me for dinner, and I accept, craving the warmth of family untainted by Anna's lies. Next, I call my son, Mark, 2008, who's in another city but planning to visit soon. He's furious at his mom, but I echo what I told Sarah. She's still your mother, your kid's grandmother. Love her, but don't let this define you. Mark's quiet, then says, "I'm proud of you, Dad. You don't deserve this." His words hit hard, validating my pain but also my resolve. We talk about his son, Max, 4 months old, and I promise to visit soon, eager to hold my grandson, to feel life moving forward. Both kids urge me to act fast on the divorce, to protect myself, and I assure them I'm meeting a lawyer tomorrow. I text Paul, my attorney, confirming our appointment. He's a friend from my military days, now a family law expert, and I trust him to guide me through Poland's fault-based divorce system. I've gathered evidence. Anna's texts apologizing, her sister's account of the affair, my notes from our talk. Though the recordings I wish I had don't exist. Powell's already warned me, full custody of grandkids isn't at stake, but assets, like our house and small business, will be contentious. Anna's affair strengthens my case for favorable terms, but Poland's courts favor mothers for young kids, so I'm bracing for every other weekend visits if custody were an issue. My goal is a clean split, sell the house, divide the business, walk away with my truck and motorcycle, free to start anew. I head to the shed, my refuge since D-Day, where I tinker with my motorcycle, a 1,980 seconds Harley I restored years ago. The familiar smell of oil and metal calms me as I polish the chrome, thinking about Anna's betrayal. Her sister's account, that Anna planned the affair, flirted with the couple over months, acted on a fantasy, cuts deeper than the act itself. She wasn't drunk, not coerced, she chose it, hid it, planned to never tell me. The dead bedroom, my weight gain, her insecurities about my newfound attractiveness, they're no excuse. I loved her through her weight gain, told her daily she was beautiful, rebuilt our sex life for us both. Her insecurity was hers to own, not mine to fix, and she broke our vows to scratch an itch. I journal, a habit Dr. Zofia, my therapist, suggested after I started therapy last week. I'm angry, I write, but not consumed. I'm sad, but not broken. I'm building a life for me, for my kids, my grandkids. The words help, naming the storm in my head. I write about the good years, dancing in that 1980s nightclub, our kids' births, the business we grew, but also the pain, the 20 years of sparse intimacy, my effort to change, only for her to betray me when we were strongest. Dr. Zofia's words echo, "You're grieving the marriage you thought you had. I'm letting it go, piece by piece, to make room for what's next." I drive to Sarah's for dinner, stopping to buy Lily a stuffed dinosaur, her latest love. Sarah's husband, Tom, grills burgers, and we eat on their patio, Lily babbling in her high chair. "You look lighter," Sarah says, and I nod, telling her about the sleep, the lawyer, my plans. She hugs me, her eyes wet, and I feel her strength, a mirror of mine. Tom, a quiet man, offers practical advice. Get your finances tight, sell the business fast. I agree, planning to list it next week, a step toward untangling from Anna. Lily climbs into my lap and I hold her, her warmth a balm, a promise of joy beyond this pain. Back home, I call Dr. Zofia for an emergency session. "You're calm," she notes, "but the anger's still there." I admit it, the satisfaction in Anna's misery, the urge to hurt her back. "That's human," she says, "but don't let it drive you. Focus on your kids, your future." We work on a visualization, me with Janik and Tomek, laughing, free. I see it, us at the zoo, building forts, growing old with them. She suggests a letter to Anna, unsent, to release my rage. I write it that night. "You broke us, planned it, lied. I loved you, but I'm done. I'm free, and you'll live with what you did." I burn it in the backyard. The ashes a release, a step toward peace. I meet Powell, laying out my goals, sell the house, split the business, minimal contact with Anna. He's optimistic, citing Anna's affair as leverage for a favorable settlement. Poland's courts don't reward cheaters, he says, but warns Anna may fight for the house, tied to her dad. We draft a proposal, 50-50th split. I keep the truck and Harley, she takes the car and cats. Powell suggests mediation first, to avoid a drawn-out trial, and I agree, wanting closure for the kids' sake. He's preparing papers, aiming to file next week, and I feel a weight lift, a concrete step forward. Work's a struggle, but I'm regaining focus. I manage a tech firm's projects, and my team's patient, covering my lapses since D-Day. Marta, my divorced coworker, checks in, sharing her story. My ex cheated. I left, rebuilt. You will too. She suggests a hiking group, and I join, planning a weekend trek with new faces, a chance to breathe outside my pain. I'm also lifting weights, the gym a sanctuary where I push my body, reclaiming the strength I built losing 176 pounds. The 10K I'm training for feels closer, a goal to mark my progress. I reconnect with old military buddies, meeting for beers. They're shocked at Anna's affair but rally around me, sharing their own scars, divorces, losses, recoveries. "You're tougher than this," says Jan, a former squad mate. "You survived war games, you'll survive her." Their laughter, their stories, remind me I'm more than a betrayed husband. I'm a father, a friend, a man with a future. Jan invites me to a fishing trip, and I accept, eager for time on the water, away from Anna's ghost. The kids visit, Sarah bringing Lily, Mark driving up with Max. We spend a day at the park, Lily chasing bubbles, Max cooing in my arms. "You're their rock," Sarah says, and I nod, vowing to stay steady. I tell them about the divorce, the house sale, my plans to rent a place nearby. They're supportive, offering to help with the move, to babysit during mediation. I buy them ice cream, and we laugh, a moment of normalcy amid the chaos. Janek and Tomek aren't here, but I FaceTime them, Anna's voice distant as she hands over the phone. Their giggles fuel me, a reminder of my purpose. Anna's texts resume, softer now. "I'm sorry, can we talk?" I forward them to Powell, keeping silence. Her family's quiet, their hope for reconciliation fading. Her father calls, apologizing, promising to fund the kids' preschool. I accept, for Janek and Tomek, but stay firm. "No saving this," her sister texts. "You're right to leave," a final crack in their Catholic facade. The town's gossip, Kuba says, is dying, Anna's friends splitting. I don't care. My world's my kids, my work, my healing. I start a scrapbook for Janek and Tomek, pasting photos, writing memories. "Janek, you loved this zoo trip. Tomek, your first word was dada. It's a legacy, a way to show them I was here, loving them through the pain. I've enrolled in a CO parenting class, learning to communicate with Anna without rage. It's hard, her betrayal triggers me, but I practice, keeping texts about schedules, health, nothing more. I buy dinosaur shirts for the boys, planning a zoo trip when I have them, building moments they'll remember. Photography's a growing passion, my lens capturing the capital's pulse. I've submitted a shot to a local contest, a sunset over the Vistula, and the feedback's encouraging. My blog's gaining traction, readers thanking me for posts on resilience. I comment on infidelity forums, offering advice, protect your kids, but don't lose yourself. It's cathartic, turning pain into purpose. I've joined a book club too, reading The Alchemist, finding wisdom in its journey of self-discovery. Mediation's days away, and I'm ready, armored by Powell's prep, Dr. Zofia's calm, my kids' love. Anna's lawyer's low budget, a sign she's struggling without her dad's support. I expect tears, denials, but I'll stay focused. Custody, support, a clean break. The house listing's live, the business valued, steps toward freedom. I'm not the man I was, smitten by Anna's laugh, nor the one who raged at her lies. I'm stronger, a father forging a future, one step, one truth, one love at a time. The words pulse through me as I stand on the balcony of my new apartment in the capital city, a steaming mug of coffee warming my hands in the early July chill. The skyline glitters, a mix of old spires and modern glass, and I breathe deeply, grounding myself in this moment. At 35, I'm a father to Janek 3 and Tomek 1, a project manager clawing his way back from the wreckage of a 9-year marriage shattered by Anna's affair with her ex Merrick. The recordings, her crude, intimate calls planning a life without me, still sting, but they're fading, replaced by a resolve to build a life for my boys and myself. Mediation looms, Anna's texts beg for reconciliation, but I'm done. I'm filing for divorce, protecting my kids, and reclaiming my heart, one deliberate step at a time. The apartment, a modest one-bedroom near my office, is starting to feel like home. I've added touches for Janek and Tomek. Dinosaur decals on the walls, a toy chest brimming with blocks and stuffed animals, a small table for their crafts. Last night, I hung a photo from our last zoo trip. Janek pointing at a giraffe, Tomek giggling in his stroller. Their smiles are my anchor, a reminder of why I'm fighting through the pain of Anna's betrayal. Her lies about just talk with Merrick, her plans to leave me in 2 years, her dismissal of our life together. I sip my coffee, the bitterness mirroring my lingering anger, but it's softer now, tempered by purpose. I'm not the naive man who fell for her warmth in 2016, nor the one who raged at her 4 late-night calls to Merrick. I'm a father, rebuilding, and every choice I make is for my boys. I check my phone, no new texts from Anna, a rare silence after her recent pleas, "I'm sorry, I love you, come back for the kids." I forward them to Pavel, my attorney, as evidence of her emotional manipulation, but I don't reply. Her words feel like a performance, driven by her family's rejection and the small town's gossip, not genuine remorse. The recordings, her laughing about Merrick's body, planning vacations, promising to be his wife, are irrefutable, proof she's not the devout Catholic she played every Sunday. Her family's hope for reconciliation, rooted in Poland's conservative culture, grates. But I'm firm. Our marriage is over. And I'm protecting Janek and Tomek from her instability. I call Dr. Zofia, my online therapist, for our bi-weekly session. "You're holding steady," she says, her voice a calm anchor. "But the pressure's still there, isn't it?" I nod, admitting the weight of Anna's family's pleas, her father's call, her brother-in-law's confession of his own cheating, her sister's texts urging salvation. "It's their values, not your reality," Dr. Zofia reminds me. "You're choosing your kid's stability." We work on a new visualization, me with Janek and Tomek, years from now, laughing at a park, free from this pain. I see it vividly. Janek kicking a soccer ball, Tomek chasing butterflies, and it fuels me. She suggests a gratitude journal, noting 3 things daily that bring joy, to shift my focus from betrayal to hope. I start tonight. Janek's laugh, Tomek's babble, the sunrise run that clears my head. Powell emails confirming mediation is set for next week. He's drafted a proposal, every other week custody, fair child support, no claim on the unfinished house tied to Anna's dad. The recordings, her admissions of love for Marek, her intent to leave, strengthen my case in Poland's fault-based divorce system. She'll cry, play the victim, Pavel warns. Stay focused on the kids. I practice responses, keeping them neutral. I want what's best for Janek and Tomek. I've chosen not to play the recordings in court, saving them for leverage if Anna fights. My goal is a clean break, sell our assets, split the proceeds, move forward. The house we built, a dream now tainted, is listed, and our small business, a tech consultancy we started together, is under valuation. I'm ready to let it go, to untangle from Anna's world. Work's a lifeline, though my focus ebbs and flows. As a project manager, I'm leading a new software rollout, and my team's patient, covering my occasional lapses. I've apologized, recommitting to deadlines, and my boss, Marek, not the affair partner, praises my effort. "You're tougher than you look," he says, and I smile, feeling the truth of it. Marta, my coworker and divorce survivor, checks in daily, sharing tips, keep texts with Anna short, about the kids only. I follow her advice, limiting communication to schedules and health updates, ignoring Anna's emotional outbursts. I've joined the company's running club, training for a 10K, the group's camaraderie a balm. Yesterday I hit a personal best, 6 miles without stopping, my body stronger, mirroring the resilience I'm building inside. I meet Tomek, my friend from the dad's group, for lunch. He's been co-parenting for 3 years. His ex's affair a mirror to mine. "You're doing great," he says, sharing a custody app, Our Family Wizard, for tracking schedules and expenses. I download it, eager for tools to streamline co-parenting. We talk about Janek and Tomek, their tantrums since Anna's distance began. "Consistency's key," he says. "Same bedtime, same rules." I'm planning. Story time at 7 p.m., dinosaur games, a predictable rhythm to anchor my boys. Tomek warns against public revenge, like sharing the recordings. "It'll feel good for a moment," he says, "but it'll haunt you, and your kids will pay the price." I nod, Powell's and Dr. Zofia's advice echoing, "Protect Janek and Tomek, not my pride." I visit my dad, a week of caregiving in his quiet city apartment. He's recovering from hip surgery, grumbling about his cane but grateful for my help. I cook pierogi, his favorite, and we talk late into the night. "You're a better man than I was," he says, referencing his own stormy divorce decades ago. "Your boys are lucky." I tell him about the mediation, the recordings, my fears of losing time with Janek and Tomek. He listens, his hand on mine, and I feel his strength, a legacy I want to pass on. I FaceTime the boys daily, Janek showing me a new dinosaur drawing, Tomek waving a rattle, Anna civil, handing over the phone, but her voice is flat, her apologies performative. I keep it brief, focusing on their smiles, not her. Back in the capital, my apartment feels more like home. I've added a bookshelf, stacking it with parenting books and novels, including The Alchemist, its tale of self-discovery resonating. I've hung more photos, Janek at preschool, Tomek's first steps, building a space that's ours. Kuba, my friend who spread the news of Anna's affair, visits with beer, and we laugh, reminiscing about college days before Anna. "You're free now," he says, and I nod, feeling the truth of it. I've secured my finances, separate accounts, canceled joint cards, my car insured solo, ensuring Anna can't drain me. The house sale's progressing, with a buyer interested, and the business valuations nearly done, steps toward a clean break. Photography's my escape, capturing the capital's pulse, cobblestone alleys, river sunsets, street vendors. I've joined a local photography club, meeting weekly to critique shots. Ela, a member, encourages me to submit to a city exhibit, and I'm working on a portfolio, a black and white series of urban resilience. It's amateur, but it's mine. a way to see beauty amid pain. My tech blog's growing too, with readers thanking me for posts on balancing work and healing. I've started commenting more on infidelity forums, sharing my story, protect your kids but don't lose yourself. The responses, strangers saying I've helped them leave FRS leave, feel like a lifeline, turning pain into purpose. Anna's silence continues, her texts now rare. Her father calls, apologizing, vowing to fund the kids' preschool but no longer pushing reconciliation. Her sister's text, "You're right to leave," solidifies my resolve, a crack in their Catholic facade. The town's gossip fades, Kuba says, with Anna's friends splitting, some loyal, others gone. I don't care, my focus is Janek, Tomek, and my future. I've stopped checking Anna's social media, a victory over my pain. Her family's hope for saving the marriage is dying, and I'm free to forge ahead. I've been thinking about love, what it means post-betrayal. Anna's affair wasn't just a fling, it was a planned abandonment, a choice to replace me with Marek. I loved her fiercely, but that love's dead, replaced by a love for my boys, myself, a life I'm building. I'm not ready to date, but I'm open to it someday, with someone honest who chooses me daily. Dr. Zofia says I'm rebuilding trust, starting with myself, and I feel it, a slow healing. I see Kasia at the gym, her smile warm, and I smile back. Not ready, but hopeful. Mediation's days away, and I'm prepared. Powell's strategy clear, custody, support, a clean break. Anna's lawyer's weak, her finances strained, giving me leverage. I expect tears, denials, but I'll stay calm, my boy's future first. The house sale's close, the business deal pending, my freedom near. I'm not the man smitten by Anna, nor the one who raged at her lies. I'm stronger, a father forging a future, one step, one truth, one love at a time.